We're live. This is the Comic Hall and Roundtable discussion. I am Matt Odom. Al Rainey is in the building. Xavier Randall is in the building. But there's no Reggie Durham in the building. And that's why we're late coming on tonight because Reggie called us out. Reggie said he was going to be on here tonight to debate us, his top 10 wrestling list. He has failed to show up tonight. And so, with that, I'm going to let Al speak his words on that because Al was looking forward to this all day long. Al, your thoughts? I think Al's camera's acting up. I think everybody's internet's acting up. Cox Cable is bottlenecking everybody. And I think everybody's getting a dose of this tonight. Al, are you with us there, brother? Or it may even be just me. I think my connection might be acting up. You there, Al? Yeah, I think Al. Yeah, there you go. I see Al. You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Got you, brother. You in there?
I had to change to my backup connection. But ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. I'm looking strong on my
Yeah, you there? We got you.
Hey man, I heard myself. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we you good. Yeah, you good.
Okay. I heard it repeat myself like the system. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. I hear it again.
Yeah, yeah. It might be. You know what? Are you? Do you have the stream up on your website anyway?
Oh.
Yeah, take that off. There you go.
Okay, it was delayed, man. I forgot
All
I
right.
actually put the thing on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. I feel so stupid. Nonetheless, my name is Al Rainey, and it's nice to be here today. And I hear myself again, but I think there might be somebody else. Anyway, Reggie Durham, man, I'm gonna give you the egg sucking dog award, made famous by the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And the reason why I'm giving you that award is because we gave you an opportunity, a platform to come on this particular show tonight and air your grievances and state that asinine statement that Hulk Hogan was the reason why Ric Flair was so popular. Anybody with 2/3 of a brain would know that that is a lie. So I'm not going to even go any further on that. Hopefully, you'll be able to show your face and redeem yourself by explaining yourself. I got love for you, man, but right now you are an egg sucking dog. And I mean that in the most respectful way because Dusty Rhodes used to call Ric Flair an egg sucking dog. He called Harley Race an egg sucking dog. He called Thunderbolt Patterson, you might not know who he is, but an egg sucking dog. So I say that in love, but you are indeed an egg sucking dog. Matt, take it away, sir.
All right. So tonight is going to be since this completely threw us off rap a little bit. So we're going to talk about a few things, but we know we got Stay Puff in there. Hopefully, Carmen from Beulah will join tonight. Some other people. We're going to probably open up actually drop the link in the chat and open up the floor for everybody to join. We'll just have a complete roundtable tonight, so everybody kind of get, for one, introduce themselves to each other and just kind of chat if they want to chat with us tonight. But first, the big news of the day is let's get this up here for everybody. The judge ruling could prevent use of Comic Con name by anyone other than San Diego Comic Con. So, a California federal judge has issued an injunction against Salt Lake Comic Con producers, stating that they were infringing on trademarks held by San Diego Comic Con. The case, while certainly affecting the Saint Salt Lake convention, could have ramifications for any other convention bearing the Comic Con label. So basically, right now, it's kind of what the judge decides to go with. But this is going to be major because you got the New York Comic Con. Here we got the Atlanta Comic Con. You've got just other Comic Cons all across the country, and so you're talking about complete total rebrands for these events. And at the end of the day, we know that that dollar amount's going to be passed right on to us. So you're probably looking at they're going to have to do a whole lot of rebranding, and you're probably looking at conventions that will at a certain price it's probably going to have to go up because they're going to have to get new signage, new everything. Everything's going to have to be changed if this is upheld by this judge. Uh,
Look at
Fellas,
New
this
York
is
Comic Con. It's right around the
really
corner.
really major stuff there. So I'll let you tackle that first. What's your thoughts on that, my friend?
Personally, I think it's a travesty. I mean, conventions are what they are. They're conventions. Con is short for convention. I think it's egregious. And to quote you, it's a shameful God that a judge will allow for that particular convention to monopolize the name con. Now, a lot of people might say, well, you know, it doesn't really matter. Sure, they could change their name to convention. But just like Xavier just mentioned, and you just mentioned a second ago, you got people that have to rebrand. You got people who have, you know, literature out, websites. Their branding is all over wherever, business cards, flyers, placards, you know, the whole nine. And I think is unfair for San Diego Comic Con to try to monopolize that particular name. But it's to be expected because, you know, in this particular day and time, you have pop culture, which pop culture has always existed forever and ever. You know, for as long as there were comic books and cartoons, TV shows, sci-fi movies, the whole nine, pop culture has always existed. But now in the 21st century, pop culture has become such a phenomenon to where, you know, supposedly the cream of the crop or the higher echelon of conventions is the San Diego Comic Con because it's out in California. They tend to get the exclusives. So apparently, you know, of course, they're going to get that preferential treatment, so to speak, even though, you know, you got the New York Comic Con and they're just as integral, it has an integral role in comic conventions as San Diego. Because if I'm not mistaken, and anyone watching the show, please correct me. I believe that the comic conventions actually has its roots in New York because, of course, that's where, you know, Marvel Comics was headquartered. I want to say DC Comics was headquartered in New York at some point in time. So, you know, to have a judge say all these cons, and we're not even talking about New York Comic Con and the Colorado Comic Con and the various Comic Cons that I know of that's in Florida. Like you said, you got the Atlanta Comic Con that we went to in July. You have the Savannah Comic Con that you and Xavier went to in May.
Yeah,
You have tons of small cons, larger cons, mid-sized cons that use the word con. And as trivial as it may sound to some people, to me, I think that's a slap in the face to any comic convention that's been held in the United States or will be held in the United States. That's to say, y'all aren't good enough to actually shorten your name to con because San Diego Comic Con has the rights to that. And I'm trying to figure out how can you have the right to a word con? I mean, con, shortened up, of course, to us, it means convention, but it also means an ex-felon. So what are you going to do then? Folks can't call themselves con mans now. You know, they're going to get sued. I mean, I know that was a stupid analogy, but y'all get what I'm saying. But I don't know, man. I think, you know, in one hand is kind of slippery slope because once you give that particular entity, i.e. the San Diego Comic Con, well, I'm just going to protest and say San Diego Comic Convention, you give them that type of power, then what's next? What else would they be able to put their stamp on and say, okay, so we're going to monopolize this. You can't use this. We have an exclusive contract to where no other comic convention can have this particular actor or this particular movie or this particular movie house or whatever. So, I mean, you know, they already have the leg up on a lot of comic conventions because a lot of stuff is exclusive to San Diego Comic Convention. But I don't know, man. I don't that doesn't sit with me too well.
Yeah, I just have a hard time believing that that's how that's going to be enforced. That's my main thing is that how is that something that magnitude? I mean, that's sweeping, sweeping legislation per se. That you're going to have that kind of that kind of say so over something that's been going on for years. And I just have a hard. I don't personally. I can't see it happening. But if it does happen, then that would be rough. Go ahead.
But you know what? And I get what you're saying, but if you think about it, San Diego Comic Convention took that to court for a reason. You feel
Of
what I'm
course. Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
mean, for them to even say that, and I mean, if you think about it, for them to even say, you know, we don't want nobody else using the name Con. So we're gonna go to court and we're gonna have an injunction placed against all these conventions so they can no longer use the three letters CON or the phrase Comic Con. They have something in place to try to enforce it. Now, will they be successful in shutting everybody down? Nah, but I guarantee you they'll shoot for these major conventions, like the comic convention that they have every year in Warner Robins here in Georgia. They will probably won't touch them. But you know, the Salt Lake or the Denver, I think they have one in Salt Lake, they have one in Denver. They have, I mean, all over Michigan. I know they have one in Detroit, Chicago. You know, they'll probably try to shoot for those larger conventions to try to shut them down and to keep them from using it because it's more that will be more manageable than trying to Zilla Comic Con next week. They ain't gonna be able to shut that down because I mean that's gonna be some small podunk convention that they really ain't gonna have no type of interest in anyway. So if they do try to enforce it, it's probably gonna be geared towards the larger conventions that gives them the most competition.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they awarded them $4 million on damages. So I mean on legal fees. So it's probably gonna go a little somewhere. But I just really think that they could spend money somewhere else instead of having to deal with this kind of hoopla. But it is what it is.
Just one
Um,
thing on it right quick, Matt.
Go ahead, Xavier. I'm sorry. Sorry about
Um,
that, bro.
no, you're all right. Let's just all right. So we all collect the Funko Pops, right? So one of the main things in the hunt for these pops are these convention exclusives. So like Al, if you were to go get the Broly that you have in the corner, it has a little sticker that says San Diego Comic Con exclusive. You're causing New York Comic Con and Emerald City Comic Con to have to rebrand all of their stuff, and they're gonna end up losing major bread. And it's also gonna force, like, let's just say me as a collector, as y'all can see the pops behind me, it's gonna push those back because they're gonna have to sit there and remass produce these pops, or as far as the packaging is concerned, for two words, comic convention. You know what I'm saying? It's the dumbest thing in the world. I understand why they want to do it and why they went to do it, but it makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Who are you to sit here and say that nobody else can use the phrase comic convention? You know, that's just like, even though like we're a small little group on here, we're a small channel praying that we grow, but we sit there and try to go to court and say that nobody else can use the word comic hall or discussion or roundtable in any of their titles. You know what I'm saying? It's selfish, it's stupid, and it's not doing anything but hurting the fans of these conventions. Because that's what every single one of them is about. I know they're there to make money, don't get me wrong, but it's without the fans, you ain't gonna make no money. So why
Yeah.
go through all that?
I want to give a special shout out to Stay Puft 1983, the Great Legend Show and Comics with Beulah, longtime supporters of the show. Uh, the Great Legend Show says that I think it's crummy because San Diego Comic Con, San Diego isn't even a comic book convention anymore. It's just a place to hype movies and TV shows.
Yep.
And that's literally what people were saying here about Dragon Con.
Yep.
I mean, it's that's why you got the Atlanta Comic Con going on now. And I want to give a shout out to Who That Comics and Movies who just jumped in as well.
Who that?
To the Night Nurse who was watching. And I just, when you look at these comic conventions, it's just like he said. You go there, and what does everybody wait for at the San Diego Comic Con? It's movie trailers. It's movie trailers. It's Walking Dead. When you do go there for comic books, it's an arm and a leg. You'd be better off staying at the house. And this is something that's not being discussed. And so I've had several people ask me, "Well, Matt, are y'all going to San Diego Comic Con? For what? I mean, for what? I can go several comic book stores here and get the same thing that I would get going out to San Diego Comic Con. If you're going to San Diego Comic Con, you just saying, yeah, I mean, you just saying that you went to San Diego Comic Con just to say that you went. You'd be better off going to New York Comic Con, to be honest with you. And even there, you still gonna overpay. So I think Al is having a little technical difficulties over there. We'll revisit that when he.
No, I'm not. I don't have technical difficulties, man.
Is he? Excuse me. His frame froze on yours as well. Can you see that?
Nah, it's good on mine.
Okay, I guess it's on my end. I'm sorry about that, Al. Okay, there you go, brother. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that.
Man. Hey, no, that's all right, man. Let me just say something. Net zero does not work no more in 2018. I'm just playing. But
go ahead.
I just wanted to say though, for real. I mean, and that's true. I mean, shout outs to the individual that posted that, because it's okay. I can remember going to my first convention and I was floored over the fact, and this was before cosplay. And of course, there's nothing against. I love cosplay. If I was in better shape, I would go dressed as cosplay. But there's not too many fat cosplay. Well, I take that back. It's some folks that go that are obese, and I can talk about this because I'm overweight, and they don't need to be going dressed up in certain characters. But I digress. You do you. I'm not gonna go dressed as Black Adam because I don't have a Black Adam body. But nonetheless, I mean, even when my first convention that I went to, I was just floored because it was a convention. You had artists. I mean, you had that at the time. I mean, cosplay was building up because people have always been cosplaying. They just, they coined the term a few years ago. People always been going to conventions dressed as Spider-Man and Batman. But, it was the fact that it was the air to know that you had comrade in arms of all walks of life, of all races, colors, creeds. And I know this might sound corny, but it's the truth. And they came together for one common goal, and that was their love for comics, right? And like I said, pop culture has evolved to this thing to where everybody has been a fan of comics for like the past 30, 40 years, and they're only 22 years old. And there's no slight against the young cats that collect comics, because, I know of a couple of guys, they're young and they're in it to win it. They've done their research, they read their books, the whole nine. But what I'm saying is that the San Diego Comic Convention is more so a venue for pop culture than it is for comics. And it's like, okay, that's fine. And at one point I used to want to go. We got a friend that went. I got a couple of friends that went and they liked it. But they've never actually, to be honest with you, they were never into the comic game. I'm more prone to go to a comic convention looking for deals like we did at the last few conventions that we went to. I want to see if I could catch some X-Men comic books for a lick, Yeah, I'll take a few pictures, but I want to see some artists. This last comic convention, I saw Bob McLeod. He was the co-creator and the artist for the New Mutants for, I think, the first 10 issues, if I'm not mistaken. He signed my book. He shook my hand. We took a picture, and that was cool. And I think for the most part, most diehard or long-time comic fans, that's the kind of interaction that they want when they go to a convention. But now it's all about the next trailer, and I predict right, and Hall H, right, and I predict eventually, and actually this happened at the last the Comic Con in San Diego, that Spider-Man game. Even though it looks good, they blew that game up at the comic convention. You got E3, You
Right.
got other the Consumer Electronics Expo. So you got, you know, avenues for those, but because it's pop culture now, it's more focus or emphasis on that particular show because everything happens out there, just like with E3. So
Yeah. All right, so we'll go ahead and get ready to move on here. Let's shift over to Tom Hardy has signed on for three Venoms, not one, not two, but three Venoms. So does this mean that then we make it a good Venom movie? Because you know Tom Hardy's pretty reputable. So if he sees potential in this and he said, okay, well I'll do three. Uh, Maybe he knows something that, well, of course he knows something we don't, but you know, figuratively speaking. Um, Xavier, I'll let you go first on this topic. What do you think? Uh, do you think there could be light at the end of this tunnel?
I mean, not being funny, that's a pretty broad question because it can always be light at the end of any tunnel. But I don't. I'm still up in the air about this movie. Um, for you to sign on three movies and not even seeing if the first movie was a success, that I mean, I'm up in the air on it. I don't like how you bring in two major symbiotes in this one movie without even having the symbiote attached to Peter Parker to start off with. I don't like that. Do I think the movie could be good? Yes. Tom Hardy is an excellent actor, an amazing actor, but I don't think that star power alone would be enough to warrant having a three-movie contract for something that is already getting negative publicity. And I hate to say it, rightfully so, being the last time they did a Venom in any Spider-Man movie. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think he should have just waited, or Sony should have just waited, see how this movie panned out, see how the critics and the viewers receive this movie, and then go from there. But that's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah.
well, I concur with X, but I'm just gonna use this particular analogy as well. Tobey Maguire signed on for three movies too.
Oh God, Jesus Lord.
And we know how Spider-Man 3 turned out with Green Goblin Jr. and the fake Venom,
And
which
Drew
I call
Barrymore.
fake 'em.
And the Sandman.
Right. The best part of that movie, of course, was Sandman. They could have done the movie with just Spider-Man and Sandman, and it would have been a whole lot better than that garbage. But I'm just using that as an analogy. I agree with X. I don't even think the movie's been screened. So it's kind of hard to say, okay, well, based on people that have screened the movie, is it going to be any good? Sony's track record with those properties have been kind of wonky, with, in my opinion, the first and second Spider-Man movie, and then the Amazing Spider-Man being some decent movies. Of course, Spider-Man 2, in my opinion, is like the best movie that superhero movie that they've churned out, period. But yeah, I don't it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse, but apparently they know something that we don't. Maybe they've set something in stone or set something in motion with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, saying, okay, so if y'all do two more movies, let us have some type of input in them. For the sake of the property, I do hope I hear something rattling. For the sake of the movie, I do hope that it does well. I'm not really like seeing it at this point, but you know, we'll see. But I'm in the same boat with X on it. It's kind of like hard to say if the first movie bombs, then what then? Y'all gonna still go through with the other two movies or what? You know?
Yeah, I mean that's the conundrum that they'll find themselves in is trying to figure out. Okay, well, we put all eggs in one basket,
What is that
and
sound?
yeah, I don't hear it on this end. Yeah, I don't hear it on this end, guy.
It sounds like a sick rattlesnake. That's what it sounds like.
It's only when Matt is talking and or doing something.
I got headset on, so I no clue. Yeah, you still hear it now?
Yes.
Yeah, it might be the predator.
Which is actually next up on this list. Well, you know, hell of a segue, Al.
Mind powers, yes.
Yeah. So apparently the talk is the Predator is expected to make $30 million out of the gate. That's That's yeah.
It's
I
not
was
hard.
Xavier's like me. I'm like, okay, who's going to see this?
No, not that, but 30 million is nothing.
Yeah, I mean who I mean how they I didn't even expect them to make 30 million. That's where I was at with this. I didn't even expect it to make 30 million.
They made 30 million just with Shane Black's name being attached to it.
I mean
So
they've been
that's
better
very low.
they've been better off putting this on Netflix. To be honest with you, I mean they've been better off putting the Predator on Netflix. I mean this is horrible. So that's what the rumor is. So I think it's safe to say that we probably won't be seeing another Predator for a long time.
I don't know. I don't know now because, you know, if the Transformers could survive for 29 movies,
Oh my god.
Predator might have a chance though. Straight up. I mean, because y'all know the first Transformer movie was decent. The second one with them Devastator balls, scrotums, and they went on to do how many more movies after that one?
Too many.
And they
Right.
got a spinoff coming.
Right, Bumblebee. Who wants to see a movie about Bumblebee? Like Bumblebee is like the most ineffective transformer on the cartoon and the movie. That's just my opinion.
They,
But
I just got one thing to say about the Transformer. I know, not jabbing at you by any means, but Transformer One, it was. I think it was just more so nostalgia than it being a good movie or a
I
decent movie.
agree.
Oh, you know what? I know what y'all hear. I just realized what it is. Yeah, I got I had a trailer up running in the background. That's what it was.
Somebody was freezing to death.
Yeah, it was actually, which I'll segue into that. That's another segue, but we'll save
So
that segue. Go ahead.
Ventures.
Continue on. Continue on.
I, I just gotta wait to see. Larry, he's commenting in the chat group, and he said based on the last trailer that he saw, he has higher hopes. I mean, I understand that, but when you have low expectations for the movie to start with, and you see a better trailer saying that you have higher hopes, doesn't mean it's gonna be a good movie. It just means they gave us something better to see to make us want to see it more. Doesn't mean that we're gonna like it.
I mean, at the end of the day, we'll probably see it.
Transformers was not a great movie, Larry. Stop.
No, transfer. Which one? The first one?
He just said Transformers. It's not a
Oh, the
great movie,
first one
not a
was
great
okay. Yeah, first
franchise.
one's all right. When you start talking about 3 and 4 and 5 and 12 and Marky Mark and the Funky
Oh,
Bunch
oh my lord.
and
No,
all that,
the second one was garbage, man. Devastating
and
never
two,
had testicles.
Having a different form, like having a different for different configurations of Megatron, can they possibly come up? He's had a different one in every single movie, if I'm not mistaken. How did he go from being Galvatron, well, the fake Galvatron, to having a non nano cell movie body in the last movie? I mean,
Transformium. It was Transformium. That's
I'm so
what the movie
disgusted that I
said.
watched all of those movies. So disgusted. I'm mad that I'm sitting here talking about this terrible franchise, and I sat down and watched all of them.
Hey, don't feel bad. You and me both. I had high hopes, just like Larry, but you know those hopes were just dashed to bits on the jagged rocks below. So you know, you
I can
win some, you lose some, man.
I can say I watched Transformers before I watched X Men Apocalypse again.
Oh God, yes.
I watched Iron Man 3 days in a row, nonstop, before I watched that again.
I will watch Superman: The Quest for Peace
oh
five
man,
five times in a row.
I will pause Dolph Lundgren sitting Indian style, butt naked in the sewer for 3 years straight before I watched that movie again.
I will watch The Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren
yeah. Then you talk about a garbage movie, man,
eating cottage
and
cheese
that guy running around with that shotgun the whole movie. That's all I remember.
and sardines.
What
Uh,
was his name?
I can't think of his name either. That guy, I know you're talking about. If TC was on the panel, he would know. He would know exactly what we're talking about.
It began with an L.
Let's move on, y'all. Look here, Iron Fist. They're pumping out the new trailers. You know, Iron Fist is slated for what is this? Sometime in the
In the
next
next 2 weeks.
next 2 3 weeks. And
Yeah, the next
so
2 weeks. Don't it
they're
come out on your birthday?
no. It comes out on like the 24th or something like that. I think it's something like that,
That
towards the end of the month. Yeah, let's go look. Let's see right quick. When is it? Let's go to the trusted Google. Or if anybody in the chat, knows the date on Iron Fist, when is that supposed to come out? But I know it's like right around the corner. So they're pushing out the trailers. They're pushing it out. They're saying we got a new revamped fighting style. We've got new fight choreographers. We've got Typhoid Mary, and
I am excited about that.
I am too. And I was getting ready to say, for all the grief I give Larry about higher hopes on Venom, I have relatively higher hopes for Iron Fist this season. I mean, there's no way. The only way it can go is up. It's so
Thank you.
bad
I was
last
just
season.
gonna say
It's
that goes right with what I said.
yeah,
When you have low expectations, it's
yeah,
not hard to get higher hopes.
yes. So hopefully it'll be a little bit
Comes out
better
on
than the first
Friday,
season. Comes out when?
Friday on the 7th. I'm looking at it on Netflix
Okay,
right
a
now.
week before my birthday. Then okay, good, good. So next week. That's next week.
Good Lord, we got Iron Fist and Spider Man.
And Daredevil. No, Daredevil comes out in I think November.
No,
Yeah, that comes.
I'm talking about on the 7th.
Oh, that.
Spider Man comes out on the 7th too.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be playing that then. I'll be playing that. I'll be
Lord,
picking it up
Lord.
that morning or that night. I downloaded one. Um, so I think Iron Fist is actually going to be better this season. Um, hopefully they listen to all of the objections, and of
He's gonna
course
be
I'll eat it. If it sucks again, I'll eat it. I ate the last one.
fine.
I ate the last one. That movie, that show absolutely stunk last season. But you could see they was giving him, they kind of give you a little bit of his tone in Luke Cage. So hopefully he's more of a confident fighter this season than he was last. As TC would say, all that whining and crying and stuff. So hopefully this season he'll be a little bit more confident.
He gonna have to
And
be better if he don't want to die. Still
yeah,
Serpent coming.
yeah. So that's another thing I'm looking forward to. Steel Serpent, which I think that first appearance is, I can't quite remember the number, but I know it's like a Marvel 2-in-1 or something like that. Uh, so if you're picking that up, that's one you want to grab. You can find that in Buck Beans. I'm sure you can find that in Buck Beans. I've seen that in Buck Beans all over the place, but I can't remember exactly which one. I know my boys in the group chat know exactly what it is. I'm sure somebody put it up there for us. But I know it's like a Marvel 2-in-1, something along that line. Um, let's see what else we got here on the docket. Xavier, this one tickled me when I saw the headline. Alec Baldwin is out of the Joker movie. So what does that tell you, my friend? If Alec Baldwin says he is out after a day, what was it, 2 days ago? Him saying he's in, and then now
Well,
he's out.
here's the thing. If this is a Joker origin story movie, what is Thomas Wayne doing there? The Joker, depending on which version that you want to try to follow the origin on, is roughly the same age as Batman, give or take 5, 6, 7. You know what I'm saying? Unless Alec Baldwin was mad that it could have been like some old news footage that was playing on like a TV or something like that. Because that's the only way that I can ever see Thomas Wayne being in the Joker movie. And I've even heard little rumors out there talking about Thomas Wayne had an illegitimate child, and the child ended up being the Joker, and this, that, and the other. I, you shouldn't have Thomas Wayne in a Joker origin movie. Period. That's just my opinion.
Have you all had a chance to? Well, you know what, Al, go ahead and comment on that, my friend, and we'll go to the next. I
I,
might try to say this one for Larry.
I really have no comment. I mean, I'm indifferent either way. I mean, Alec Baldwin in the Joker movie. I mean,
So that's all you have to say about it.
I do.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll shift over to this, and Larry can give his opinion when he gets on. Has anybody seen the new Shatterstar designs for comic?
I have not.
You have not. Okay, so hold on just a second. I want to go, and we're gonna do a screen share.
yeah, I haven't seen it because I have zero interest in Shatterstar.
And here we go. So explain to me why Shatterstar looks like something out of the Warriors, man.
I was gonna say he's 2 sleeves away from being the Gimp.
So I mean, this is for the new Shatterstar series.
Oh
Which,
God.
yeah, I was just I was just going to say, Shatterstar has his own comic book. Now, Shatterstar
Why?
has his own comic book. So I'm giving this 4 issues. I'm giving this 4 issues. Yeah.
Why?
With 80 variants. He'll get 80 variants. He'll get a 125, he'll get a 150, one and 100, and he'll get a Del Auto to try to tempt me to buy it, but I won't buy it.
I know. I think I might know why, but the answer or the question, what's up, Al? The question is still why. Like back a few years ago, Shatterstar, his character was actually set to I think he's bisexual now because him and Richter had a relationship at one point. So aside from that, to try to actually bring more diversity into the comic books, I see no other reason as to why Shatterstar has his own comic. I mean, because to be honest with you, and a lot of people may disagree, the only time Shatterstar, in my opinion, has been interesting was when Rob Liefeld was actually drawing and writing X Force. That was to me the only time he's actually been any good. I mean, he's the son of the son of Longshot and Dazzler, and he was from the Mojo verse, like in the future or something. But I think that's what his origin was. But anyway, I mean, that was the only time to me he was interesting. So I don't see, unless he's actually in his own book to I mean, fighting Mojo on Mojo verse or Mojo world. I don't really see the need for a Shatterstar comic book, but hey, somebody will buy it.
Xavier, thoughts on Shatterstar? Okay. All right. Well, Constantine. Constantine will be included on the DC Universe platform. So that opens the door, of course, naturally, for Constantine to possibly be revived. Would that be something that either of you would be interested in?
Quick question: When you
Yo,
say he's on the streaming service, is that his his old show
the one
or
that just got canceled recently, that was on NBC. The most recent.
yeah, that was his show. They technically has nothing to do with the CW except for the couple of cameos that he did, but I didn't like Constantine anyway. Only thing that I would really like about Constantine was um, Swamp Thing and Zatanna. That's it. He walked around with a cigarette, just like half of the population in America.
Al?
To be honest, I don't really, I've never really been interested in Constantine either. However, I will say that the Justice League Dark animated movie that they came out with some time ago, I like that character in that particular setting. But I mean, as far as the movie with Keanu Reeves, never watched that all the way through. Never watched the TV show, so I mean, I'm gonna have to play that indifferent card on this one, so it don't matter either way. But talking about that DC streaming service, from what I understand, DC actually they pulling out everything from the archives. I think the Wonder Woman TV show from the '70s is gonna be on there. The Batman from 19, Batman '66 is gonna be on there. Even Bill Bixby and that sad music where he was just walking down the street and when nobody help him, doom 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 doom, that's gonna be on there too. So yeah, they're gonna have content, but as far
What
as
about the original
Constantine,
Flash?
I think that's gonna be on there
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, CBS Splash is going to be on there.
Yep. They got a bunch. I mean, that Flash, man, that show wasn't bad, man.
No, I'm excited
Oh,
for that.
I like him better than the Barry Allen on the current show.
Man,
At least he got the job done.
right. He didn't rely on Team Arrow. Well, what's the name?
Cisco and the crew.
No, not Cisco and the crew. Iris and the crew. Since she's the head of Starlet, no, and whatever labs they are in now. Um,
Just say Iris and them.
I will say I like the design of the new pops they got coming out. They
I
got
tell you,
the Kid Flash with a black Kid Flash. They got Jay Garrett coming out. They got the Flash and running pose. and they got vibe. That vibe look real good.
All right, so this is something I wanted to bring up. Let's get this right here. And a Valiant is back on it again. We'll ship glass variants. we back. Hey Al, we're going back to 1991, man.
Mm.
We'll ship glass variants directly to comic book stores.
Now, when they say glass variants, is this the movie Glass that's coming out next year with Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson? Or
No, we're talking Bloodshot, Rising Spirit, #1, glass cover variant.
okay, so educate me, man, because I'm ignorant on this. What is a glass variant?
Apparently, a glass book, a glass cover.
Hey,
So
summer.
you know what's happening, man, is we're getting ready. It looks like we're on our. It's not gonna be as bad as it was in the '90s, but damn it, here we go again. We're going right back down this rabbit hole of unnecessary variants, and there. I'm sure Buell and the guys in the chat can attest to this. These is out of hand. It's out of hand now. But the sad part about this, fellas, is that there are people that somebody's gonna stand in line to buy this. Let's keep in mind, people bought what was that last year that Todd McFarlane Venom 1 or 1,000. You know, we saw two go. We did a show and we saw it was a bids on eBay. So people are gonna buy this. Now who I don't know. It definitely won't be me. It might be Al, but it won't be me.
Hey, man, I try not to curse on the show, but you almost made me curse. Ain't no way on up under the blue skies of Wonder Gore will I go buy a variant made of glass. I can see that now, man. Somebody going to the store and they all hyper excited. So, man, let me go get that glass bloodshot one. They get it, go outside and trip on their shoestring and just break it.
They might not even have a chance to buy it in order to break it themselves. The shipping
Unless,
on them things gonna be broken. I don't know. I wouldn't
yeah,
order if I was a shop owner.
anywhere in the world, man. Glass variant. That's
Yeah. Now and the thing about it, I don't see. I want to see what the price was, man, but I don't see a price. But I mean, this is exactly what
Probably
caused the
fifty
crash.
dollars.
Well, this is what caused the crash back in the day. Is that you had these unnecessary variants, and Valiant was the master of that, man. They had all kind of wild plastic covers back in the day, you know. So I mean, this could very well be, Valiant is struggling anyway. I mean, when it comes to trying to get relevance in this modern comic game. So I mean, that's really not going to help their cause unless they're just trying to tag this along because they got that Bloodshot movie coming out, which we'll have to discuss that another day. So, Al, we were talking about this before we went on the air, and I said, well, we're going to add this on to the docket for this evening. And this is Guardians of the Galaxy has been delayed indefinitely. Uh, could this be? I'm sure at some point during this discussion, Larry's going to show up. But could this be a slight decline in the MCU if this does not uh, materialize, or they have to change the cast? Because we got a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm not doing it." They don't bring it back. So what is the ramifications of this, or what could be the ramifications of this?
well, my opinion is this. I think it would actually be detrimental, number one, for Marvel not to use James Gunn's script. And the reason why I say that is because if there's a script already in place for the sake of cohesiveness, they should use it. Now, you could, whatever side you want to take in reference to the James Gunn controversy, you take that side and that's cool. But at the end of the day, when you are at a point or a position where you've pretty much put the project on hold indefinitely looking for a different director. Now, at one point, Dave Bautista had stated, Dave Bautista, of course, plays Drax the Destroyer. He was, opposed to going forward unless they brought back Gunn. So apparently that's not going to happen. So then his whole beef, if I'm not mistaken, was them not using the script that he actually penned. And I think a lot of the other actors kind of had that same sentiment, but he was more vocal than anybody else. Well, my thing is this, you know, and we talked about this. I mean, if they're looking for another director, then they should look no further than um Tiki Wat. I never been able to pronounce that dude's name. The dude that did Thor Ragnarok. I mean, for me, he would be a perfect
Tiki,
shoe in. Waititi or Wakiki, Kiki, do you love me? Whatever his name is.
Hawaiian
But
shirt.
right, Hawaiian Sophie. But I think, I mean, if they're, I mean, they just, give him the duties of going ahead taking over, because it seems to me, based on the chemistry that he had with, the cast members of Thor Ragnarok, that he would fit right in with the Guardians of the
Right,
Galaxy. They loved that dude, and I mean, it was the same feeling with James Gunn. So I mean, I think, if Disney can play this to the hip, I mean, just go ahead, bite the bullet, use the man's script, pay him for it, and then move forward. Now, if you want to take liberties with the script in terms of how the story is going to end, because this is be the third movie in the Guardians trilogy, in reference to whether or not the team is going to be disbanded, whether or not the MCU is going to continue with the Guardians of the Galaxy from that point forward, then you could edit the script, because I mean, we talked before the show. In the second movie, they introduced the first team of the Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of the movie. So, I mean, even if they wanted to go that route, they've already set the stage to bring in a new team, which is, of course, the old team. So, I mean, I think they should be. I think at this particular point in time, they should take a step back, ascertain the situation, determine, okay, well, where do we need to go in this particular situation, and then carefully consider the pros and cons of doing this until they come to the conclusion, well, this is what we can do and this is how we can do it, to try to cover or to try not to cause as much collateral damage as possible, and then move forward. I mean, it's like I said, since this is the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie, like I said, they could take liberties with the script, change some things. If they're gonna kill off the whole team, do it at the end. If they're going to kill off a certain amount of people, do that. If they're going to set the new team or the old team in motion, do that. But I mean, it's kind of hard to say what they're going to do now, because they told everybody to go home, not just the actors, but everybody involved with the movie. So that movie may get pushed back, and then how Disney is in the Marvel Cinema or Marvel Studios. Remember, the Inhumans was supposed to be a movie, and then they shelved that, and then they decided to make that out of a TV show. So they may just scrap the idea altogether and may redo some well, I don't know, because they've already done the last Avengers movie. They've already filmed that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, because the Guardians of the Galaxy is pretty much, they got a pretty sizable following in reference to moviegoers, and they pretty much made them the same way they did with Iron Man, because Iron Man was a C-lister until his movies came out. So we'll see.
All right, Xavier, did you want to add anything to that?
I mean, I really
Huh?
can't argue. I
Oh,
was saying, I was thinking, like, I really can't. I might not agree with Disney's decision, but I really can't argue with them based on their track record as a whole. Um, if they're, even though I love this team, the cast that they have, they were already talking about bringing in the older crew anyway. So they might just, instead of waiting another movie, go ahead and bring them in right now. And hell, it might open up the path for Star Lord to get his own movie, Star Lord and Gamora, and then same thing with Drastic Destroyer and whatnot. So we might get a whole nother like 100 list of movies that can come out from it, and they don't have to be up under the Guardians of the Galaxy title. You know what I mean? But I mean, like I
if
said, I might not agree with it, but I can't argue with their decision just based off the track record alone.
all right, all right. Well, it is now time for our comic hauls. Who would like to go first tonight?
Hey, before we do that, can we talk about one more thing?
What's up?
I read an article earlier today where they were talking about that Aquaman had a screening,
And
and according to the article, and I'll post it on the IG page. Most of the people that watched it liked it, but they akin the movie to the Phase One Marvel movies. And right, so some people were like, okay, well, that's bad, but then a lot of people were like, no, that's not bad, because if they are comparing it to the Phase One of Marvel movies, then that means that DC will be going in the right direction.
yeah, that's what I was literally what I was thinking. I was like, well, that's an improvement.
Right. But I'll post the article in the Comic Hall on the Comic Hall IG page. But I read it earlier today, and they basically said that they screened it to a couple hundred people, and for the most part, they were saying it wasn't like a jam up, like knock your socks off movie, but it was good enough to actually be considered with um the Marvel One Phase movies. So
Sweet. Awesome.
Batman v Superman got a standing ovation. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go to our comment hall.
yes, thank you.
Let's go to the comment hall. Who would like to go first this week?
I showed two things that I want to show right quick.
All right, go ahead, brother.
Um, oh snap! Okay. Um, went ahead my Mbaku, which I'm pretty excited about. Add on to my little birthday list
Shaking his head, he like, yep.
from baby in the back. And went ahead and got the Killmonger in the road. Reason I said oh snap or oh shoot, whatever I said, because that was my first time looking on the back and seeing the broken spear and the sword that he had. So that's a lot of detail in one little pop. But that's it. I
All
already got
right,
the other ones put up.
all right. I'll go ahead and go. Well, I'll let Al, you go ahead and go.
I go because you asked me to go, and I appreciate your concern. Okay, I haven't pulled. I don't have no razzle dazzle like I did the last time. Um, I do have some older books that I'm going to show, and I don't know why X didn't show his, but I got issues 8 through 12 of this Bane Conquest. And the good thing about this, I got them each for $1. So it's 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 10's missing somewhere. But I got the first issue when it first came out, and I wanted to continue to read it. So I'm gonna try to find the other ones for cheap as well. Got a couple of back issues. Trying to fill in some holes. X Force 77 Volume 1. Generation X Volume 1, number 40. And then I got a Sabretooth. What If 87. I collect What If Volume 1 and Volume 2. All those were for $1. Shout out to Will at Comics Plus. I picked up on the behest of Matt, I picked up Marvel Premiere Doctor Strange. Number 5. It's a low grade, but it's pretty cool. It's MODOK, right, Matt?
No, that's Shuma
Oh,
Gorath.
Shuma Gorath. First appearance of Shuma Gorath. As far as my new stuff, I've been hooked on those DC Warner Brothers or Looney Tunes mashups. So I've been buying them since they actually came out. So I picked up Catwoman, Tweety and Sylvester. Lex Luthor and Porky Pig. Porky Pig looked like the drunk dude from Andy Griffith. I can't remember his
Like
name.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, he
Well,
does
that
look like
too.
Rodney Dangerfield.
You might do, yeah. The Joker,
No respect.
Daffy Duck, and Harley Quinn and Gossamer. Gossamer. And the other three comics, I picked these up. Well, two of them up last week. I just like the cover for this one, but Brian Michael Bendis wrote this. It's called Jinx World #1. So I'm gonna read that, see what it's all about.
I almost picked that up because it looked like Sia on the
Mm-hmm.
singer.
Weapon Loss #3 variant cover. I gotta catch up on the other ones. I got this
My
one
boss.
today, and I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I got this because you'll see in a second. Street Fighter Summer Sports Edition. Chung Lee. Have mercy. All right, last thing I'm gonna show the pops that I've acquired over the past couple of weeks. I got 4 total. As you some of y'all know that's been watching the show, I enjoy Cuphead on the Xbox One. One of the best games that have come out in 2000. Did it come out this year? I think 2000. Yeah, early this year. I think so. I could be wrong, but anyway, I got
Right
the
around
Devil.
Christmas.
The Devil. Oh, Satan himself. I got this one a couple of days ago, Legendary Chalice, and I thought I had to glow in the dark one, but I didn't. But I needed it anyway to complete the set. And then I
Right,
picked
because you
up,
already got Dice King, right?
yeah, I already got Dice King and Cuphead and Mugman, so I technically got the ones that's on the back of the box. Now they have 2 of the boss characters, Cagney Carnation, and one of the other boss characters. They're like the Chase, but they're not expensive. I'll probably get those next. So I picked up Bulma today for Dragon Ball Z, and I got Tien and Chaozu. And that's my haul for this week.
Your DBZ collection is fierce.
All
Yes,
right.
it is. Yes, it is.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and get this train rolling. I got Amazing Spider-Man 282, Moon Girl, and Devin the Dinosaur.
Devin Dinosaur,
Oh
really?
he transformed into human form. This was in last issue. Picked up Justice League 30, which was, if you watched our past recent video, we discussed this. I discussed it. Hawk and Dove #1, but I picked this up signed with the COA. So $6. I'm not gonna turn that down. Usagi Yojimbo color special. Uh, the Mighty Thor 390. We've got Green Lantern 140 and 142. First appearance of the Omega Man. First full appearance of the Omega Man. This is one I was looking for. Been looking for a while. Got this up at Origin. Uh, Flash 174. Got this just strictly for the cover. Uh, Incredible Hulk 324. Return of the Great Hulk.
And I wanted that pop so bad.
Incredible Hulk 330. First Todd McFarlane worked on the Hulk. And last but not least, one I had been hiding. I had to hold on to this one to keep my flap shut. But I can scratch this one off my list of books that I've been looking for a while. Pick this up at Origin. What if Venom possessed Deadpool?
Man, stop the madness. When you get that?
At Origin
When?
last week.
I'm gonna ask you how much you paid for it offline.
We'll talk about that off there.
I can't believe they had that
Yeah,
for real. But
he said, he told me. I said, well, he wasn't gonna put it out. He said he didn't think anybody wanted it.
get out of here.
Yeah,
He
yeah. He said, I said, well, I'll take it. So we
wow.
got that.
Matt, the king of
You know
sneaking
what?
stuff in.
That's a good pickup right there, man. Because
Yeah,
that's like the most expensive. That's one in the because I'm working on
yeah,
complete novels that run, but that's the most expensive what if comic book, and I think in the volume 2 run. So
yeah. So that's it, fellas. Well, for everybody here on the panel, we want to tell everybody have a great night. For everybody that's in the chat room, everybody that's watching, shout out to everybody who is watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you check us out on the Instagram Comic Hall Roundtable discussion. And special announcement: we will be broadcasting this month. We will be September, excuse me. We will be at our local comic book store broadcasting live. So we will be there in September. Date to be confirmed. We will let you all know. For Antonio, who is working, hopefully we'll have him back next month. And Larry was waiting on you, man, but I think Larry kind of got caught up there, husband duties. So with that, Reggie, open invitation, man. We're still here waiting, but I don't think you're gonna show. So it is what it is. So want to tell everybody, want to wish you all a good night. For Al Rainey, for Xavier Randall, myself, Matt Odom. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. We will catch you all on the rebound. Have a great night.